This was just from 20 minutes ago, 35 minutes ago. This is breaking, everybody. I don't know if there's going to be anything good in it. Like I said, or like I always say, I don't pre-watch anything. I'm just going to, hope that there's some good nuggets in here, and also hope that because I'm getting to it first, people will enjoy watching the content. So let's go ahead and watch it. I'm sure there'll be tons of good questions. I'm sure there'll be tons of bad questions, and we can judge all of the reporters and our big beautiful president on how good his answers are going to be. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
Mr. Meloni, can you do something?
Mr. President, you had a conversation on the Pope. Mr. President, on the Pope. The Pope criticized people who, quote, manipulate religion for political or military gain. Do you think that he's talking about you, sir?
It's very important that the Pope understands. Very, very important. It'd be nice not to say it. Iran killed 42,000 people that were totally unarmed. They were protesters. Iran can.
Okay, I think the number of protesters has been stuck at around 40,000 for a little bit. So my ticker that I have of it continuing to go up continuously, it's not the number doesn't go up right now. We need that number to go up, Mr. President. I want to get that number up to 60,000. Okay, the next time you say anything, it better at least be up to 50,000.
Not have a nuclear weapon. If they did, every country, including Italy, where he's stationed, every single country in the world would be in trouble. So we're doing very well with respect to that, having to do with the whole situation on Iran. The blockade is amazing. It's holding up very strong, very powerfully. And I think we're making a lot of progress on that. But the Pope has to understand Iran, very simple. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The world would be in great danger.
I don't think the Pope needs to understand that. I don't think that's the Pope's job. Generally, the Pope's whole thing is like, I want peace. Like, I want world peace. And usually the Pope goes out and says, yeah, it would be nice if we could have world peace. He seems to think that the Pope is some sort of like diplomatic figure. Like maybe he thinks the Pope is the president of Italy or something. I don't know what he thinks, but the Pope's job is not like there was a really funny thing in his tweet, I think, where he said the Pope is weak on crime. It's like, dude, he's not a government official. That's not his job. Like, but that's a really funny response. I'm loving that one. That one was pretty good. Come on, why can't the Pope just understand that a nuclear armed Iran is a threat to people everywhere, you know?
Mr. President, would you meet with the Pope to even out your differences because Catholics are torn?
I don't think it's necessary.
I agree that I don't think it's necessary. This beef can remain firmly on Twitter. Like this beef does not have to enter real life. I'm just saying. What are they going to do? Have like a debate? Like, is he going to debate the Pope? Like, it's like one step away from debating God himself, you know?
Mr. President, you spoke with Prime Minister Modi just a couple of days ago. What was the conversation like? What is it that is on the table now?
I had a very good talk with him, and he's a friend of mine from India, and he's doing great. We had a very good conversation.
Are you considering extending the ceasefire with Iran?
With who?
With Iran.
We're doing very well, I can tell you. Maybe it'll happen before that. I'm not sure it needs to be extended. Just so you know, Iran wants to make a deal, and we're dealing very nicely with them. We've got to have no nuclear weapons. If we do, that's a big factor. And they're willing to do things today that they weren't willing to do 2 months ago.
Do you have any news about Ukraine? Do you have any news regarding peace in Ukraine?
Will Hezbollah stick to the ceasefire? Are you confident about that?
I think they will. I think it's going to be, actually it's very exciting because it's 48 years. We're going to be meeting with Bibi Netanyahu, as you know, and the president of Lebanon. And I had a great talk with both of them today. They're going to be having a ceasefire, and that'll include Hezbollah. And I think it could be number 10 for me.
Yeah, so the Hezbollah thing, I mean, I have a video about it later, but I really think that if you, I'm assuming Hezbollah is going to agree. I think it just went into effect, the actual ceasefire. Like I see something from 50 minutes ago, Hezbollah fires rockets at Israel before ceasefire, 3 wounded, 2 severely or whatever. So but like Hezbollah wasn't invited to be a part of the negotiations or anything. So you know, you can hope that they'll be. I think that like the way Israel usually does ceasefires is that the other group has to cease firing and Israel just strikes as much as they want or whatever. That's how historically the ceasefires have been. That's not going to work with Hezbollah. And also, I think that they, you know, in my opinion, they should be forced to retreat from the territory during the ceasefire as well. But that's just my personal opinion.
Do you have any news regarding peace in Ukraine? Do you have any news regarding peace in Ukraine?
Ukraine is moving along. I wish they could get along, frankly. A lot of people are dying in Ukraine. We'll see what happens. There's things happening there. We're focused so much right now in Iran, seeing if we can get that completed. And I think,
yeah, if anyone ever wondered what an empire overextending itself looks like, it is this right here, where he has to be like, what, Ukraine? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, totally. We're totally still doing something with Ukraine.
and I think if you look, the stock market is good. The oil prices are coming down, and it's looking very good that we're going to make a deal with Iran. And it's going to be a good deal. It's going to be a deal with no nuclear weapons.
Mr. President, when is the next in-person round of negotiations on the war in Iran?
They're all important. I mean, it's not a question of around. All of them are important.
When will the next in-person
Probably, maybe over the weekend.
Will you send the Vice President?
Maybe over the
Will you send the
Just so you understand, the blockade has been incredible. It's held. They're not doing any business. They're unable to do any business because of the blockade. And so the combination of having no Navy, having no Air Force, having no anti-aircraft equipment, they have nothing. Everything is gone, including their leaders. Now they have a new set of leaders, and we find them very reasonable.
This is just kind of like, I mean, I kind of want to go into it more in the next video, but this is just kind of like, manufacturing victory out of failure, essentially, is how I would describe it. They got the ceasefire. That's true. I think China really helped them out with that. They got the temporary ceasefire, which before the ceasefire, like Iran for sure held 100% of the cards because every escalation was met with an equal escalation. And so it was really just like people understood that, oh, Iran is like going to dictate some of the terms of the of negotiated peace. But then after the ceasefire, Iran no longer is at least not at this time, matching escalation for escalation. Like, so Trump closes or blockades the blockade or whatever. So now Iran's not shipping oil potentially. I don't know. It's still a little unclear whether that's actually happening or not, whether Chinese tankers are going through or not. But Iran like is not currently under the ceasefire, you know, essentially like shutting down all of the other oil facilities in the region, like Saudi Arabia, or, you know, bombing all of those facilities as like an equal retaliatory measure, you know? So like there is that. And then of course the media and Trump all instantaneously glob onto that as like some sort of success. Like I don't know if they actually believe that it's a success, that this temporary reprieve that Iran is allowing them to have, where they can do these things and not get the equal escalations that they have been getting throughout the war. I don't know if they actually believe that they're having some sort of strategic effect or not. I'm not really sure. But like, we'll see what happens when the missiles start flying again, though. Like I said before, if you're going to enforce this blockade, you're going to have to be pretty close, I would guess. And those ships are going to make excellent target practice for the Iranian drones and missiles. So depending on how close they are, either drones or missiles. But I'll probably get more into that later. So let's continue watching. What is it?
20-year minimum to stop enriching uranium?
Well, we haven't agreed to any. We haven't agreed to any. What we have is we have a statement, very powerful statement, that they will not have beyond 20 years. That they will not have nuclear weapons. That's beyond. There's no 20-year limit.
Any updates on Greenland, Mr. President?
I think that.
I didn't hear that question. I don't know if anybody else did.
Todd Blanche is doing a very good job, from what I'm saying. I mean,
Todd Blanche, I think, is acting attorney general, if I remember correctly, taking over for Pam Bondi.
Say thus far, I think Todd Blanche is doing a very good job.
Yeah, but he hasn't been memed into oblivion, and that's what I want. That's what I want from my attorney general. That's who he is, right? Acting attorney general Tom Blanche or Todd Blanche. I don't know. I'd have to go double check, but
If there's no deal, would you be willing to extend the ceasefire, or will the fighting resume, Mr. President?
I would say the fighting. If there's no deal, fighting resume.
Okay. And then on gas prices, how much longer will Americans continue to see these high gas prices?
that's the other thing as well. By completely blockading Iran, if they are going through with that, like I said, it's kind of up in the air. That also imposes much more cost on Americans with prices of gas, and also all of our allies across the globe who are going to face shortages and oil shortages and gas shortages like way earlier than they would have back when Iran was actually shipping oil through the Gulf and or through the Strait. But Iran can also ship oil, like they can ship oil through land routes. It's just not as efficient. But yeah.
Well, they're not very high. If you look at what they were supposed to be in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon, with the danger that entails. So the gas prices have come down very much over the last 3-4 days. I know, and that's what ABC says. But the fact is that if you look at the stock markets up, everything's doing really well.
Dude, I don't care about that.
The big thing we have to do is
bring the gas prices back down. I do care about that because the last time I filled up, it was like $50. It sucked.
We have to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, because if they do, you want to talk about problems, you'd have problems. So very important is that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that. Iran's agreed to that, and they've agreed to it very powerfully. They've agreed to give us back the nuclear dust that's way underground because of the attack we made with the B-2 bombers. So we have a lot of agreement with Iran, and I think something's going to happen very positive.
Do you think any Americans actually care if Iran is nuclear armed? Like, I'm going to be honest, I don't think so. I worry more about Israel being nuclear armed than Iran being nuclear armed, because Iran has a history of being very methodical and strategic and like deliberate about everything they do, and Israel just seems like a fascist Nazi state who wants to take over territory like all around their borders and stuff. So I care much more about Israel having nukes than Iran.
Very complicated subject. It's I don't think we're waiting. I think we're moving very fast. It could happen pretty quickly.
How long you could sustain the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz?
The what?
How long you could keep the blockade on the Strait of Hormuz?
We're doing very well with the blockade. It's very routine for us. The Navy is incredible. And I think the blockade is doing very well. It's no ship is even thinking about entering. No ship is going past our Navy.
Why are you fighting with the Pope? And are you worried it's upsetting your
No, I don't. I have to do what's right. The Pope has to understand that.
I have to do what's right, not like that heathen, the Pope. How does he even know what's right? It's not like he's talking to God or anything.
I have nothing against the Pope. His brother's MAGA all the way. I like his brother, Louis. I'm not fighting with him. The Pope made us.
It's probably why his brother didn't get Pope, if I'm going to be honest. I don't know if he was a cardinal or not, but I'm going to guess that if he was, they probably passed him up for maybe that reason.
Statement. He says Iran can have a nuclear weapon. I say Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. And if the Pope looked at the 42,000 people that were killed over the last 2 or 3 months as a protester with no weapons, no nothing, I mean, you take a look at that. So I can disagree with the Pope. I have a right to disagree. I have a right to disagree with the Pope.
What do you say to people who see that, who see your criticism?
You can't have, look, nothing, I have no disagreement with the fact the Pope can say what he wants, and I want him to say what he wants, but I can disagree. I think that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. If they do, the whole world would be at jeopardy. The Middle East will be blown.
I mean, you can disagree with the Pope. I disagree with the Pope all the time. I think that you shouldn't, as the president, be like feuding with the Pope like he is like, I don't know, like you're in high school or something. I guess it's more important than that. But like, yeah, you shouldn't be. I don't think it's very becoming to have our president having like a Twitter beef with the Pope. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
and the whole world will be
you
in
can
jeopardy.
disagree with him as
We're
much as
very
you want.
close to making a deal. That'll be a great thing. The Pope has
Just know that if you disagree with him, you're disagreeing with God. That's the only problem, I guess. But
understand, Iran has killed more than 42,000 people over the last few months. Think of it, protesters without guns, without anything. They were totally unarmed protesters. The Pope has.
Okay, first of all, the number, I mean, the number is much lower. I'll be like, I thought we were over talking about this, the whole protester thing, but the number I would say is probably around like 3,000 people were killed. A lot of them were armed, to be frank. It came out that Israel was the one who was arming a lot of these groups and, you know, rebellion factions. Now, I don't know the whole story of it, but America says they were all unarmed, sweet little peaceful doves. Iran says that they were attacking and killing police officers, and that's why they were shot. I do know that in America, we beat the shit out of our protesters all the time. It's like our cops' favorite thing. It's like their favorite pastime is to go beat the shit out of like what I would consider actual peaceful dove protesters who are just sitting around in a circle being like, don't cut down this tree or whatever. Then a cop comes over and tear gasses them, tears their hair out, and then stomps on their throat, you know, like, so that's what I'm used to when it comes to being a peaceful protester in America. So I don't know. I just don't think, I mean, most Americans don't really think, like they never really think about it in terms of like what we actually do to our protesters. I think we always live in the world of American exceptionalism. So we pretend like we don't brutalize our protesters as well. But yeah, I don't know. Just saying, you got a glass house over here too, Trump.
Understand that this is the real world. It's a nasty world. But as far as the Pope and saying what he wants, he can do that. Now, I know the Pope's brother. He is a big MAGA person. He's got MAGA all over his house. His name is Louis. He's actually a great guy. And I'm sure the Pope is a great guy. I haven't met him. But I disagree with the Pope. If the Pope would allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon, you can't do that.
I don't think that's what the Pope is saying. I'm just saying, I think the Pope is just saying, like, stop doing war crimes, please. Like, let's not kill children. Like, I don't know. I think that's like the main thing that he's saying. Like, okay, sorry. Last thing on the Pope. The Pope is giving a moral argument. The Pope is saying, morally, please stop doing this. The Pope is not giving like a strategic or tactical, like, geopolitical discussion. Like, that's how I would say that's what the Pope's trying to do. He's trying to give the world some moral clarity if possible, which I don't really think it's that possible right now.
No, not really.
Anthony Mashak from MTV Lebanon.
What?
Anthony Mashak from MTV Lebanon. I would like to ask you regarding congratulations for the 10th war.
Yeah, it's very exciting. With Lebanon, it's very exciting. I think we're going to have a deal. We're going to have a meeting, first time in 44 years. And Lebanon will be meeting with Israel, and they're probably going to do it at the White House.
When do you think, President, when do you think they will?
Over the next week or two.
Or the next week, and do you think this agreement can reach?
I do. I think they're going to. I think we will have an agreement between Lebanon, and they're going to take care of Hezbollah. But they're going to be working on Hezbollah right now. But we'll have an agreement between Israel, very important.
Lebanon can't do shit against Hezbollah. So there's that. That's problem number one when it comes to that. Israel can't do shit against Hezbollah either. So yeah, I mean, maybe if they teamed up to fight Hezbollah, maybe they could do something. But even then, it would be at great cost. Like we saw Yemen go to war with with the Houthis or whatever, and look at how that turned out. You know what I'm saying? And like Saudi Arabia, you know, tried as well, like Saudi Arabia with the help of Yemen and stuff. So like, I don't know. I'm very skeptical that they would even be capable of disarming Hezbollah.
Importantly, and Lebanon.
Will you support our Lebanese army as well?
I would, yeah.
Iran's going to
Has Hezbollah agreed to the ceasefire? I mean, how do you even?
They're all agreeing. It's a very nice little package for about a week. And we're not going to have lots of bombs dropping, and we're going to see if we can make peace between Lebanon and Israel.
And this one more on the Pope, Mr. President, because there was a group of bishops that did put out a statement saying the Pope isn't merely exercising his opinion, he's preaching the gospel. I mean, what do you say to people that view this as
I
an
want him
attack
to
on
preach the
Catholic
gospel.
Church?
I'm all about the gospel, but I also...
I'm a little bit tired of Pope talk at this point. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think this story would keep going so hard. I think that he actually angered some like right-wingers, which is why people are focusing more on it, because people care a lot more when he angers right-wingers than they do whenever he angers, like, you know, lefties or Dems or independents. Like, so like they just give outsized influence. So maybe that's why. I don't really know why.
I know that you cannot let a certain country, which is a very mean-spirited country, have a nuclear weapon. If they did, they would use it, and I think that...
Before lowering interest rates. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree. I think we should have lower interest rates.
Iran's going to execute 4 more protesters, reportedly, including the first woman protester. What do you tell Iran?
Well, tell that to the Pope.
President Trump will...
What do you say? Tell that to the Pope.
Do you want to patch things up with
Tell that to the Pope, people. Tell that to the Pope.
That Iran is going to...
Lebanese people love you so.
Did you just hear that? Iran is going to...
I'm going to start using that phrase. I'm going to say, tell that to the Pope. If someone says something like that I don't care about, tell it to the Pope.
Execute 4 people, including
President Trump, the Lebanese love you so much. Will you visit Lebanon?
Do you extend the ceasefire? What makes you to extend that?
I don't know if we're going to have to, but if we need to, I would do that.
Wait, that's important. Sorry.
Airlines, what are you telling the airlines and the oil companies about the way you're going to open up the Strait of
So if you
Hormuz?
look at the oil, and if you look at the price we're paying, it's about half what people thought it would be if you did what I had to do. We had to take this journey to the Middle East in order to get rid of a nuclear weapon. There would have...
Well, it's also about to get worse as well. I've heard that like the last shipments of oil, like oil is a slow moving good. Like I watched a video or something where like those oil tankers out on the high seas, they're going about the same speed that you go on a bicycle. So it takes a while for the oil to actually reach its destinations and for impacts to be felt. I've heard estimates of like months, essentially. Like for America in particular, I think we're the last, like a couple months maybe. So like I think we recently got our, like, because we import some oil and gas from there. But I think most places, I guess, they're getting their last shipments of oil from the Strait of Hormuz pretty soon. And then after that, that's when like the full 20% of the oil market is just completely gone, at which point the price raises up even higher. Like these sorts of impacts are not something that are just like they go up and then they come back down immediately. It's that they have a very slow ramp up time, and then they have an even slower like ramp back down time in terms of like the global impact. It's gonna like, and because oil is used in so much other stuff as well, that impact is going to last even longer because it goes into like all aspects of society. So I think that prices are still going to rise even if the war was over tomorrow. I think prices like gas prices, energy prices, fertilizer, like all the things that are needed from that are byproducts of gas, like trucking, any goods or services being moved across the country, grocery stores, like prices, food prices, all of that is probably still going to be like start going up and remaining high for at least a few months, I'd say, even if it was over tomorrow. But yeah.
If we didn't hit it with the B-2 bombers, or if I didn't kill the Barack Hussein-Obama deal, the nuclear deal, which was a disaster, we would have had nuclear weapons exploding in the Middle East and beyond. I believe I've been able to stop that. I think we have a very successful negotiation going on right now, and I think it'll be, if it happens, it'll be announced fairly soon, and that'll give us free oil, free Hormuz Strait, everything will be nice, and I think your oil price will go down to lower than what it was before. And I think a lot of good things will happen.
Just for clarity, you're willing to extend the ceasefire if there is no deal?
We'll see. I don't know that we'll have to. Ideally, we'll, but if I needed to, I would.
The Lebanese people love you so much. What do you say? The Lebanese people love you so much. What's your message for them? And you will visit Lebanon after?
Yeah, I will do that. At the right time, I would certainly go there.
You know, that guy's like a Lebanese expat who like despises Hezbollah, if I had to guess, like from how he's talking right now.
You know, Putin doesn't want to stop it apparently. He keeps bombing Ukraine. You think this war has the potential to go on for years more?
Well, it should have never started. If I were president, the war in Ukraine never would have started with Russia. But it's going on. Hopefully it'll get over soon.
Tell it to the Pope, Trump.
Came out last week and said she had no link to Jeffrey Epstein.
Who did?
The First Lady, Melania Trump.
She had none.
Why did she come out and say that last week?
Because the fake news was saying she did, and she had none, and I think that's been proven. It bothered her that the fake news was being fake news, so she just wanted to clarify.
Were you surprised?
Who's taking care of Hezbollah? Do you think that they are destroying the deal that you are trying to make?
We're going to see how it all works out, but they'll be working and coordinating. If you know Lebanon, right? So they'll be working with Hezbollah.
If they fired Jay Powell,
interested in acquiring Iranian oil?
What?
Are you still interested in acquiring Iranian oil after this?
Well, we'll see. I mean, we have a very good relationship with Iran right now, as hard as it is to believe. And I think it's a combination of about 4 weeks of bombing and a very powerful blockade. The blockade is maybe more powerful than the bombing, if you want to know the truth.
Are you going to make the Arab countries
I just, the blockade is just such a nothing burger. I'm just so tired of people pretending like it's anything. It's just not. I just don't think it's that strategically significant. I'm just getting annoyed by them talking about it like it's like the best, most important strategic decision that has ever happened in wartime ever. Like, it's so annoying.
a portion of all of the costs?
I think they'll make that. I think they're going to make that contribution. I think the Arab countries, because we've done a lot, I think they'd make a contribution toward the cost. Not been involved.
It's so hard to hear these questions sometimes. Sorry. Maybe I should be repeating them when I do hear them for people. But I don't know if that would get annoying if you can hear them.
Iranian assets without any condition if you make a deal?
We're going to see what happens. But I think we're very close to making a deal with Iran. You'll be the first to know. But I think we have a chance. And if that happens, oil goes way down, prices go way down, inflation goes way down. And you're going to have, much more importantly than even that, you won't have nuclear holocaust. Thank you.
Okay. Well, wait, sorry. I got to turn the... I guess I can let it play. I got to turn my light on real quick.
Well, possibly, but I think a deal could be reached. Possibly. I would be foolish not to. I mean, if we're close to a deal, would I extend? Yeah, I would do that. But we're close to a deal. We're getting along very well with the new Iranian leaders. It really is, it's regime change. These are people that are a lot different than we were dealing with at the beginning. As you know, they're no longer around. They're no longer with us. But we have a very good relationship, and I think there's a very good chance that we're going to make a deal. Also, Israel and Lebanon, I think there's a good chance that they'll make a good deal. So,
When are they coming here?
Any reaction to Russia's overnight attack on Kiev? They killed 20 more Ukrainians.
I think it's terrible.
China, are you going to send any cabinet member to China before your visit?
Well, I have a great relationship, as you know, with President Xi, and I look forward to being there. We have a very special relationship. So I look forward to being in.
Also, that's another thing that we haven't really talked too much about is like, if America does do this blockade and actually enforces it against China in particular, like there's going to be ramifications to that because China doesn't want Iran's like the oil that it gets from Iran to like, I think it's like 8% of their energy production or whatever comes from Iranian oil. So like they don't want that source to go away, particularly because it's strategically significant as a like not depending on America, but also they have Russian oil as well. So they have multiple sources that they could, that they could probably move to. But in the end, I think it's in China's strategic interest to keep Iran like sovereign over their oil. So like if things get bad enough, China can always like go back to implementing export controls or whatever, whatever it wants to get Trump back, like to get him to back off. So, but also, yeah, the global impact of the strait being completely closed, I think would cause America to blink like probably long before China would feel the need to get involved anyway. So.
in China.
How's the preparation going? Mr. President, thank you. Mr. President, you impose sanctions on Rwanda because they keep violating the Washington Accord.
I do.
But President Kagame just said he don't care about sanctions, and he said he will not withdraw from Congo. His troops will continue in Congo. What is your reaction to
We're
that?
going to look into it very strongly, but they do have very big sanctions.
Mr. President, there was a G20 meeting in Washington today. Why did you invite Poland instead of South Africa?
Well, Poland's a great country. We like it a lot. We're friends with Poland. The president is doing a great job, so we invited him.
I have a feeling I know why they didn't invite Africa. They didn't like that whole end in apartheid thing, man. It really, really grinds their gears that the 90% black population, you know, finally threw the yoke off of their 10% white oppressors, and now they're committing white genocide. We heard about that story as well. All the South Afrikaners or whatever that came to America because they were fleeing the white genocide, but then they were like, they got their first hospital bill and they're like, man, America sucks. And then they went back to, I guess, get white genocided over in South Africa. That was a funny story, man. I wish I was streaming back whenever that one came out.
I saw your Truth Social post about Bruce Blakeman in New York. He's being denied up to $7 million of public campaign funds in New York by partisan Democrats. Have you seen that, and what's your reaction to it?
I can just tell you this. Bruce Blakeman is running for governor. He will be a great governor if he wins. I don't know that he wins or not because it's New York. And, you know, people cheat on elections and a lot of other things. But Bruce Blakeman is a great, great gentleman. As you know, he comes from Nassau County, which is a Democrat area, and he wins by a landslide all the time. And if Bruce Blakeman gets in, your taxes are going to go.
There are these 10 missing scientists with access to classified stuff, nuclear material, aerospace. They've all gone missing or turned up dead in the last couple months. Based on what you've been briefed, what do you think is happening here, and do you think that this is connected or totally random?
Well, I hope it's random, but we're going to know in the next week and a half. I just left a meeting on that subject, so pretty serious stuff, but we're going to be not.
I would assure you that if it was actually like Iran assassinating them or something, I guarantee you the CIA already knows about it, like knows what's happening. So if he's going to like meetings about, like, they would know about it the instant it happened one time. And so if he's going to meetings about it, like I would be surprised that he wouldn't already have complete knowledge of like every assassination that has happened in the past couple months or whatever. Like I don't know, that's why I'm kind of leaning towards that just being a nothing story and maybe like a psyop of some sort, because it just seems, number one, I don't think Iran or Russia or anybody really has the capacity to do these sorts of assassinations, and maybe even or like maybe they have the capacity but like not the will to risk the diplomatic fallout that it could cause. But then also it's like so CIA coded to me of these, you know, these nuclear scientists, like it just gives me that vibe of a psyop. So I'm just using the vibes to try and read the tea leaves of what's going on here.
Hopefully, I don't know, coincidence, if you want it, whatever you want to call it, but some of them were very important people, and we're going to look at it over the next short period.
Is it possible that some foreign adversary is in the United States scooping these people up?
Well, you know, Biden had open borders. It wasn't very hard to get here, but we've gotten many of them out. You know, we've caught many, many people, many very...
Yeah, it's weird. As soon as you closed the borders and got rid of all the migrants, all of these people started dying. I assure you, if they wanted, like, so I do think that they could assassinate these people, actually. I kind of take that back. I think that Russia or Iran could get one of these people assassinated, because I don't think that they have, like, I don't think they have, like, security details or anything. I think they are just private citizens. But I think that, like I said, the CIA would have known about it if it happened once, let alone 10 times. So the president would have known about it if it happened once, let alone 10 times. So unless he's just putting on a really good poker face right now, which I don't honestly think Donald Trump has a very good poker face, and like he's pretending like he doesn't know this, but he actually does know what's going on. I'm still leaning towards this being like a psyop or something. But let's keep going a little bit longer, and then I'll end it on this
bad
one.
people, including thousands of murderers that we've taken out of our country, thousands of drug lords that we've taken out of our country, hundreds of thousands of prisoners that were let into the U.S. that we've taken out of our country. As far as the scientists are concerned, we'll probably have a pretty good answer over the next week.
And with the peace talks in Iran, does it have to be a big deal all at once, or would you accept a little deal to start?
Well, I have a little deal. I can make a little deal. I want to
Itty
get
bitty deal.
it done and get back to keep going with low. You know, our pricing is doing great. As soon as the war is over, we're going to be lower than we were 2 or 3 years ago. So I want to get back to that. We had to do something. We had to make sure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon. And we're at that. They've agreed to that. They've totally agreed to that. They've agreed to almost everything. So maybe if they can get to the table, there's a difference. They agree. They got to get to the table with a pen. We'll have that over with. And then we can focus on our great economy. And also, you know, I inherited the highest prices in the history of our country, the worst inflation in the history of our country. I'll get it down to a very low number. We had it to a very low number, and it's still low. But the most important thing right now is to make sure Iran can never have a nuclear weapon.
Mr. President,
Would you ever go to Pakistan to seal the deal yourself?
I would go to Pakistan, yeah. Pakistan has been great. They've been so good. Islamabad, I might go. Yeah. If the deal is signed in Islamabad.
I will say Pakistan's international credibility is going through the roof right now. They're getting, you know, by being the ones who kind of got this whole thing going, got it all like together. Like they're really flexing their like international diplomatic muscle, which is interesting in the world of geopolitics. That because I feel like they were relatively not that like prevalent on the international stage, and now they're really just stepping into the limelight. So kind of interesting. It feels sort of similar to how the Houthis kind of came out of nowhere and like stepped into the world stage as like, you know, much more influential and powerful than they were before. So yeah.
Islamabad, I might go. The field marshal has been great. The prime minister has been really great in Pakistan. So I might go. They want me to
Mr.
go.
President, the First Lady last week called on Congress to further look into and uncover the truth on the Epstein files, the Epstein saga.
Yeah.
Do you believe that there should be a public hearing for more of these Epstein survivors?
Well, I'm okay with it. I think we've had a lot of public hearings. I'm okay with it, but I understand that the women didn't want to go under oath. That's what I heard. That the women, the victims or whatever, they refused to go under oath, which.
Yeah, so he's implying that they're lying, like, which is bonkers for our president to do. He should really just keep his mouth shut, I think, when it comes to this stuff.
It was a little surprising. No, Melania felt strongly about it because she was accused of that I met her through Epstein, but it turned out to be totally false. It was a falsehood.
Mr. President,
Don't these ceasefire also include Iraq and region?
Are we talking about the one with Lebanon?
Lebanon, Iraq,
Yeah,
and
well, the whole thing. So we just made a deal with Lebanon. As of 2 hours from now, we have a ceasefire with Israel and Lebanon, and that'll be great. And they'll be meeting.
Okay, I feel like we're starting to get repeats of, you know, stuff we've already heard. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and move on and hope there's nothing crazy or good in that latter half. So